like to call to order the 2026 Board of Supervisors organizational meeting. For those who can, please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started with public comment, I would like to congratulate Mike Dobin and welcome him as our new elected Board of Supervisors. We're happy to have you on board, Mike. I'd also like to recognize both Tim Zinkham and Lisa Wiley for their service, particularly Tim, for over five and a half years on the Board of Supervisors. So I do want to recognize those too. So at this time, we'll open the floor to public comment for those who have signed in. Please step to the podium, state your full name and address, limit the comment to 5 minutes. This period is for taxpayers and residents only. I'd ask that you please be courteous and professional, no personal attacks, that's on for both sides of the table. And if there are questions later in the meeting outside of the public comment, we want to be transparent. Please raise your hand, again, step to the podium, state your full name and address, and we'll try to address those.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes, Mike.
Sorry to start off this way, but according to Resolution 2301, I believe there are some egregious errors that we have pointed out. This was pointed out to me at the PSATS meeting. Number one, you're not, in item number 5, you're not permitted to ask for residence addresses. Somebody advised us against that. And also number 1, where it says you're not permitted to applause, whistle, boo. I think our ordinance is correct, but our solicitor may have overstepped the meeting. Our ordinance states that disturbs, and that is correct. You're not allowed to do that if it disturbs the meeting. We do have protocols that we should follow that we learned at the PSATS boot camp. We'd love to sit down and talk to you about that. It's private. Well, I would say it would be a public meeting. So if we could add the changing of Resolution 2301, correcting some discrepancies, I would appreciate that. I guess we're still asking for addresses for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just speak generally, and I'm happy to research and discuss with Michelle Cromer. It's very common for residents to provide addresses at public meetings when they do speak, and it's one way to confirm that the speaker is someone that does reside within the township. And in terms of applause, boo, I do agree. The idea is to not have a disturbance, a public disturbance in the meeting, but otherwise throw off, the cadence of the meeting and be disruptive. So
I have case law here to provide you PSATs, because I did ask them specifically about that.
okay.
It's an absolute prohibited in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, be happy to provide a
Yeah,
second.
send me your email address, that's fine.
Definitely, thank you, Mike.
Okay, moving on, thank you for that. Moving on to the agenda, first up we have Steve Pruskowski.
Steve Pruskowski. On the public agenda for tonight, J, registered elector appointment. A suggestion to appoint Joe Plesant as registered elector of the township. I think we can find a better candidate. I'd like to nominate Denny Hamilton for that job because there's some baggage with Joe. I think he tried to get the township at casino in here. We were fined by the IRS for not paying our bills or taxes on time. Also, we had a lawsuit with the Butler Eagle, which we lost. And our bills weren't getting paid to buy a gas station, so our police officers couldn't get gas. So Denny Hamilton's been outstanding resident for years. He's been here, and I asked him if I could nominate him tonight, and he said yes. Okay. Second thing, for the auditors, I think we have a problem with the auditors because we have Charles Scott, who's going to be there for 2023, 2030. Mike was, I guess maybe he signed hopefully already. This was 2027. And then last year, in January's regular meeting, you nominated Jerry Hanadi of Stockbridge Road for 25 and 26 season. So all we need is just one. I don't see if we need to fill the second spot that's Kathy Carlson. Okay?
Can we address that one now?
Sure.
So we did check with the Butler County election.
So when a person is nominated to a position by the Board of Supervisors, and there's a municipal election that comes up within the time period after that person is nominated. Alan Osen passed away. Charles recommended Jerry O'Tenney to fill that position. We did put Jerry in immediately following our reorganization meeting. And I think Charles can attest to this because he spoke to the election bureau today. If there's another municipal election, that position immediately goes back up for election. The person doesn't fulfill the rest of that person's term. Because then the supervisors could just willy-nilly fill terms. It immediately becomes another elected position. And that's why there was a 2-year auditor term on the election form. And Lancaster Township has no control over that. That is done by the election bureau. That did not happen in this office.
But you give them the recommendations on that.
No, we don't give them the recommendations. That is done by the election bureau, not by us.
Right here. Your signature.
Alan Osen passed away. We fulfilled this.
Correct.
Yes, it doesn't make any difference.
We did
They
clarify this
still
with
replace the
Right.
person.
But the thing is, Mike was appointed too, and he didn't go through an election. So you're not consistent.
We'll follow up with the
We didn't do it.
But to give an example that might be more clear, if Greg were to step down as supervisor this year and the election this fall, whoever was appointed in his position would not fulfill Greg's entire term. They would have to sit in the ensuing election, especially the auditor's position.
I understand. But what I'm saying though is, you didn't do that to Mike.
Mike only served one time.
Yeah, he was appointed.
Actually, I serve more than one. Can we agree just to, Carrie, pick this up offline and address it?
We'll address it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We tried to today.
Yeah,
Clarify
because
this.
his term started in 2022, his term ended in 2027, and he was appointed back in 22, and this is 26.
I need to turn in the resignation.
So,
I think I saw the comment, is it okay if I?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, I think I saw the email chain going back and forth, and I think the explanation was sufficient.
Yes.
But if we can clarify that, we will Steve.
yeah, if we're consistent, I don't have a problem with that. But I think Denny could be more of a better candidate. He has nothing on the record. He's been coming to the meetings, and I think he'd be an outstanding person for that spot.
Okay, next up we have Charles Scott.
I'm more than happy to address, this is Charles Scott, Lancaster Township resident taxpayer. More than happy to address what I spoke with the Board of Elections about today. And for clarity and for the record, each 2-year election cycle is a municipal cycle. And the auditors are staggered so that every 2 years there is an auditor that becomes elected. And each of those terms are for a 6-year term. Now, for the last 10 years, the Board of Auditors has suffered some deaths and some resignations, which have kind of thrown a hiccup in the entire term cycle, if you would. And so I got a little better understanding of it today because the Board of Elections helped me understand that if someone is elected for a 6-year term, but only serves a 2-year term, and then the Board of Supervisors appoint someone, they are only allowed to serve on that board until the next municipal election, which is going to be in 2 years. So they don't fulfill, and this is the confusing part, and I didn't understand it. I thought when the board gave a position, appointed a position, they served out the balance of that term. And that's not the case. It's only served to the point of the next election, the municipal election, which is every 2 years. So if that helps explain why sometimes you see a 4-year term and sometimes you see a 2-year term on a board of elections, it's because there's been a vacancy, and the vacancy can only be filled by appointment until that very next election cycle for the municipal.
And Charles, can I ask a question? Would that person who is elected during that next cycle, how long would their term be? Would it be just the balance of the,
They would have a full 6-year term, yes,
they would have a point?
if you're elected.
If it's on the ballot as a 2-year term to finish out somebody
Yes.
to get back in the cycle,
Yes.
it's only a 2-year term. It's
That's
not automatically.
No, it has to be, it has to go up for election at the next municipal election cycle.
Charles, thank you for following up with that.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. And I do want to address one of the things that Steve spoke about on the agenda tonight, the registered electors appointment. I see that you are planning to nominate an elector for the township, and I did some research on a new law that has come to my attention that the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania just signed into law in December, and it's to become into effect, actually take effect next month, and it's House Bill number 1651, and in that bill, some changes were made to the law as it relates specifically to second-class townships and the way the Board of Supervisor vacancies are filled. And so if I could, I'll just read one portion of it here that may be pertinent to what we're talking about tonight. The vacancy board shall consist of the Board of Supervisors and one registered elector of the township who shall be appointed by the Board of Supervisors at the board's first meeting of each calendar year or soon thereafter as practicable. So that's on tonight's agenda as the code states and as the law states. The second part of that is the appointed elector shall act as the chairperson of the vacancy board and may not vote for themselves to fill any vacancy. So I think that new section of the law might address some of the issues that we saw previously with this board in the way they conducted the vacancy of the board of the supervisor.
We understand what you said, and that is true. They cannot vote for themselves.
You've seen that law? Okay, so I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to put that on the public record. And lastly, I would just like to state that I'm shocked tonight that Mike Dobin ran a campaign. He has been duly elected, duly sworn, and sits in a seat of honor, and yet he has no placard at his place to demonstrate the fact that he is an actual city supervisor. So if I may, I'm going to accommodate Mike with a placard. You're welcome.
Thank you, Charles. Next up, we have John Meyer.
Evening, John Meyer, 335 Camp Run Road. Just looking over the agenda for tonight, I have one question. I noticed that here you want to appoint Mary Hess as treasurer for the township and secretary for the township. And I know for a fact that in past, Mayor Dussel, who is our auditors, have recommended that we don't have the same person as secretary and treasurer. And seeing how every year, it's always in there. They don't want the same person receiving and expending the money. And I just know that last month or so, or month before, we hired a financial lady who's got all this financial experience. Why don't we appoint Barbara as our treasurer and eliminate that conflict, which the auditors, and you can look it up, I'm sure it was in your last year's report from the auditors, but I think we ought to have Barbara as the treasurer, eliminate that and have that check and balance. While we have the perfect opportunity to enact on something like that, I think it would be a good idea. All right? Appreciate it.
Can I just add something, Tom? I mean, as far as checks and balances, the board of supervisors, at least two of us have to approve all of this.
I know you do.
And it's paid by a third party.
I know. Are we going back to the township paying our bills?
We haven't decided yet.
I thought that's why we hired Barbara.
Well, she's only been here roughly 60 days, so,
Yeah.
I mean, things can change.
All right.
Thank you. Next up is Tony Leo.
Tony Leo, 129 Miracle School Road, looks like everybody had a nice Christmas and Happy New Year. You sort of explained the registered elector a little bit. So if you give an explanation on what a registered elector is and what the chairman of the vacancy committee actually does. How many people were considered for this position? And can the vacancy chairman be appointed to a supervisor position?
The answer to your last question is yes, they can be appointed, but they cannot vote for themselves.
No, they can't vote for themselves,
But they can.
but the two supervisors can, right? So
Three.
in theory, the vacancy chairman can fill that position. Could you explain what an elector is? Registered elector?
So in the event that you have two sitting supervisors, one supervisor leaves or passes or whatever, and you have two supervisors, and the two supervisors may lock heads about who their vote is, who they want to be the replacement for that third person that passes.
Right, that's the chairman of the vacancy. But
So
an
the
elector is
chairman-
anybody who is registered to vote.
Elected.
Well,
Correct.
it's the chairman of the vacancy board has to be a registered elector. It has to be someone that is registered to vote
In the township.
in the township.
Correct.
So that's what a registered elector is.
How many
So
people were
the ch-
considered for this position?
2 or 3.
3. Okay. How did that happen? How did you,
The board of supervisors.
did they put it out? Put the
No.
names in, or you
No,
just
we
suggest?
don't have to.
It's rare, Tony, quite frankly, it's rarely ever used. And actually, that person that sits in that position, most of the time the supervisors agree on who they want to replace. That chairman of the vacancy board rarely ever has to vote. So that's
That's
only
only
really,
for-
that's really to break the tie. That's what that position is for.
Every year that position has to be open.
Yep.
Correct.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, that wraps up public comment. We'll move on to item number 4, the organization. Per second class Township Code Article 6, Township Supervisors, Section 602, organizational meeting. We need to do 2 things right now. We need to appoint a temporary chairman and a temporary secretary.
I'll make a motion to appoint Greg Kessler as temporary.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We need a temporary secretary.
I'll make a motion to appoint Richard Marcotte secretary.
All in favor, say aye.
Need a second, sir?
No.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Did you second that?
No,
Need a second.
second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to appoint Mary Hess as temporary.
Did you vote, Greg? Didn't you vote, Greg?
Yeah, I said no.
Oh, you said no. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carries. Nomination for vice chair. I'll make a motion to appoint Rich Marcotte as vice chair.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say
I
aye.
have a motion on the table, Mr. Chairman, I think we need to open this to discussion. Based on Mr. Marcotte's behavior at the last meeting and at several other meetings where he has threatened to call the police on township residents, I do not believe he would be a candidate, or should be considered. That is not fair to the residents of this township.
Thank you for your input. So I'll make a motion again to appoint Rich Marcotte as vice chair.
I'll second the motion to appoint Rich Marcotte as vice chair.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Right. You need a motion to appoint, you had a temporary chair, but you missed the motion to appoint the chair, I believe.
Correct.
Seeking a motion to approve permanent chair position for 2026.
I make a motion to appoint Greg Kessler as the permanent chair.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to administrative appointees. We need to appoint the township manager. Motion is being sought to appoint Mary Hess as the township manager.
I make a motion to appoint Mary Harris as the township manager.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
We have a motion on the floor, can we have discussion?
Sure. We can have a discussion.
Okay. I don't have enough information, I'm sure, talked to some of the employees of the township. I see that she has their approval, and they seem to work very well with her, I think that's a great thing. I am concerned about her attitude to township residents, particularly me, but having walked the township during my election period, the comments seem to be the same, that Mary stated that she realized people in the township do not like her, and she doesn't care. I think that is an attitude unbecoming of a township manager, and I would hope that we can work as a board to correct that.
You know, I'll make a comment as well. I've worked with Mary for 2 years. And the amount of work she's done and the respect she's gained from her staff, the different boards in the township, and the professionalism that she brings to the job, I have absolutely no hesitance to appoint Mary Hess as the township manager.
Thank you for your input, gentlemen.
So, we already have a motion.
Make another.
I make a motion to appoint Mary Hess as the township manager.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item B under agenda item 5, a motion to appoint secretary of the township. Recommendation is Mary Hess.
I make a motion to appoint Mary Hess as the secretary of the township.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Need to appoint a treasurer for the township. Recommendation is Mary Hess.
I make a motion to appoint Mary Hess as the treasurer of the township.
I'll second that motion.
We have discussion, sir?
Sir.
Can we make a distinction for my benefit, the difference between treasurer and secretary and treasurer, or secretary treasurer?
Can council address that?
Yeah.
Do you want to, Mary, since you do the job?
Go right ahead, I
Go
would
ahead,
prefer to
Jeff.
hear from you.
Yes, the treasurer is obviously the one that handles the money. The main responsibility is a financial nature, where the secretary is more of the, the eyes, the ears, dealing with the residents, doing the day-to-day sort of job. And I think you said secretary treasurer, that's just motion D to combine those salaries into one, that's not a separate position. Do you want to further something else?
No, that's
sort of
okay.
basic.
The other point is that I'm bonded in that position as well. I carry a bond to
That was
perform
actually
those
gonna be
duties.
my next question, so we bonded as township manager and we have a separate bond.
I'm bonded, yes, my primary bond is because of my secretary treasurer position.
Now, I guess I need to address, what was Mr. Myers speaking about when he said the auditing firm previously recommended not having the manager treasurer in this position? Just for, I mean, I agree, I think it's, you know, I would think from a financial standpoint, it would not be wise. Not to mention it's additional work for you, that you have plenty of other things to do.
So the position apparently in the past, in the very beginning, prior to outsourcing our billing, the treasurer, person that acted as treasurer, and I'm not sure that happened before there was a manager. They were handling everything, and there was not the checks and balances that there are today. In order to approve the bills, which you'll see at the next meeting, the bills will all be presented to you, and you will see every one of the bills. The supervisors have to go in and personally approve all bills that are paid. We don't pay the bills. That's why there's frustration sometimes, because billing is once a month. We don't pay unless there's an absolute emergency, and the supervisors are contacted and aware, and they have to sign the checks. No checks go out without supervisors' signatures. I cannot personally sign a check for this township.
I get it. So so she doesn't have any authority on a $5,000 budget, she has to.
That's not true.
Well, that's not true.
Okay.
There's spending that can happen.
What is it, just, as a side, what is the spending limit?
The limit is-
Anything over $2,500, I ask the supervisors, they're aware.
We have it written down here.
So, Mike, to answer your question too, so there is a portal after each meeting, after we do the bills to approve us. The next day, 2 of the 3 supervisors have to log on to that portal and approve each one of those bills.
Okay.
And then it is paid by a third party.
Okay.
So we are not cutting checks, Mary's not cutting checks, none of us are cutting checks.
I appreciate the explanation, I think that's very helpful, and I just wanna ask, I know it's not really necessarily related to this, but she has only a $2,500 limit.
Correct.
Okay, I would think that would be difficult to
Well,
work with.
let me clarify, because I stated directly, anything over $2,500, if I have to pay a truck repair, etc., I report that to the supervisors.
Well, I would hope you report it all to the supervisor.
I do report it all.
I mean, I would think.
But when we have an emergency situation, I'm in contact with the supervisors all the time.
Okay, I just explained the
And
situation.
and quite frankly, I just want to share this. I've asked 3 times for you to meet to cover some of these things. And I'm glad you're doing it in a public forum. But this information would have been provided to you if you had chosen to meet with
Quite
me
honestly, I think
and
it
the other
should.
supervisors.
So let's not go down that road. I think it should.
Right.
There's a lot of information I requested that should have been with appointment click. But anyhow, the question I meant, I was speaking with Ed, you mentioned the issue of the chassis control board, possibly doing that. You know, yes, that's gonna be a fairly expensive item. Truck's stuck on the road. Does he have to reach a supervisor?
No,
Just that part?
I make that decision.
Okay, thanks, sorry to go off on the tangent.
Hey, just another question. What is our year-end accounting with Maher? How do you pronounce it?
Mardushal.
Mardushal.
They will start coming in January.
We've already started the audit. It will be the next month.
So
They will set up shop in our office.
So what they do is for 2 months, all of January and all of February.
All of every single receipt, everything.
Okay,
is
no, you
covered
answered my question.
in that audit.
And then they do come back with recommendations. in their
Okay.
findings.
Okay.
That's what I forwarded you to.
Yeah, I didn't see any recommendations, which is why I asked. There were no recommendations, so it seemed like it was missing something.
But there's a whole layer beyond that, and we're attentive to it, and I think Mary reaches out well. But beyond that, which historically, a long time ago, took that role, and they were responsible for every penny. Now, since we pay a professional accounting firm $15,000 a year, maybe,
$13,000.
they go through every penny and every receipt.
And who audits them?
That's a good question.
Well, Mark,
No,
The
it's a,
Department of
you
Economic
brought it up.
The Department of Economic Development.
So is there a
State.
report available from that, from the part? There's
I'm sure it
issues that
is.
have happened, for example, Fayette Township, where they have a secret,
We're aware.
you're aware of it, so the township got almost raped for $500,000, even though they had an auditing firm that produced reports. Nobody was auditing the auditors, and that's right here in Pennsylvania, so I'm just asking a question since you brought it up.
Yeah,
Who audits the auditors?
I'm just providing,
Well, I know that.
we've
I know
got
that
several
information.
layers.
Yeah, that information.
That
is
stops
public.
somewhere.
Well, I don't know about that.
So we're appoint a treasurer. You asked a question about, we need to appoint a treasurer.
You already have the motion in a second, so I need to call for the vote.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Salary for the secretary and treasurer, or secretary/treasurer, to be incorporated into manager's salary. So that is already part of the job description.
Yes, it is.
That's an ordinance.
Mhm.
These are functions that you've done for these two, and the previous managers did, and always that has been, that pay for the secretary treasurer has been incorporated into your salary, and it was budgeted, and that was what we presented in our budget.
Correct.
Just to clarify, there is no increase in salary.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to incorporate the salary of the secretary treasurer into the manager's salary.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I don't have enough information to answer the rest of these questions, so I'm going to abstain.
Yeah.
I have requested that information. I thought it would have been supplied to me, but that's fine. I recommend a consensus motion. If there's no other nominations for these positions, a consensus motion for everybody remaining on this particular list down to, I guess down to John Vegas. In an effort to save time. Unless there's anybody want to discuss it, are there nominations for these positions?
There are not other nominations.
Did anybody in this board want to discuss anything else about these people
Do not.
that are nominated?
Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman, because they are individually marked on the agenda, they should be voted on
And this-
individually
And this is
as per,
per the state,
if they
and
had-
this is what other townships do. So we'll just follow it. Understood. Moving on to, so we need to vote on incorporating the salary.
Okay, I made a motion in a second.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Move to appoint roadmaster, and as suggested is Ed Spurk.
I make a motion to appoint Ed Spark as roadmaster.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Move to appoint open records officer, and again, that's suggested to be Mary Hess. Any discussion around this?
I'm going to abstain on this.
I make a
And
motion.
remain.
I make a motion to appoint Mary Hess as open records officer.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Zoning and floodplain administrator, seeking a motion for that position for 2026. And again, suggested there is Sylvia Wack.
I make a motion to appoint Sylvia Wack to serve as zoning officer and floodplain administrator. Second.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to the agenda, we need to appoint a code enforcement officer. Recommendation there is Ed Spurk, who currently handles that position.
I make a motion to appoint Ed Spark as code enforcement officer.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item I, we need to appoint legal counsel, engineer, and sewage enforcement officer. Moving on first to the solicitor, we'll address that one first. Seeking a motion to approve, to appoint GTN Law, Michelle Cromer in that position for 2026.
I make a motion to appoint Michelle Cromer from GTN Law as legal counsel for the township.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to engineering, move to appoint Janet Fleming, Township Engineer. Tom Thompson would hold that position.
I make a motion to appoint Tom Thompson from Gannett Fleming as the township engineer.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Sewage Enforcement Officer. Seeking a motion to appoint John Vegas to that role.
I make a motion to appoint John Vegas as the sewage enforcement officer.
I'll second that motion.
I'd like to call for discussion on that, going against Jake, but is it a normal practice to have a backup SEO officer? Why do we not have a backup SEO officer?
We haven't had it in the past, I'm not saying that's right.
Well, I know we have had it in the past, I know when I was involved, so I'm not as jump in, but I mean, I think it's good practice, I'm sure, to have a backup if Jake's on vacation or not available, can we get that item added to discuss at a point, or find somebody to be a backup?
We can seek a backup and vote on it on the 19th.
If it becomes necessary to have a backup officer, we can add that to an agenda. You can always get an emergency officer to fulfill that position in the interim from other municipalities. So I don't think it's necessary to do that at this meeting.
I believe it's common practice, not this meeting, obviously, you can't.
No, we'll do
this
it the
meeting.
19th.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's common practices for township to have that. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. Okay. Seeking a motion.
You already had the motion and a second, I just didn't want, I asked for discussion, so call for the vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Registered elector appointment. Seeking a registered elector for the township to serve as the chairman of the board of vacancies.
I make a motion to appoint Penny Hamilton. Seriously not gonna, okay.
I make a motion to appoint Joe Plesniak as registered elector of the township.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say
I'd
aye.
like to call for discussion.
Sure.
I think, some residents have pointed out already, the reason that we should be concerned about putting Mr. Plesniak in this position. I believe outstanding IRS issues, we had a lawsuit from Rodrigo under his leadership, we had unpaid bills. Why are we even considering somebody like that to represent the township?
Because how many years did you serve the township as a supervisor?
12 years.
And did they remove you from that position or
No,
your time?
there was
in
never any
office
guilt
passed?
found on my part. I served the township well.
I think some will debate that, but I mean, especially.
I can
actions
debate you
taken-
from on the planning board too.
That would be fine. And I gave you opportunities to address it. You walked stormed out of the room. That attitude.
know.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did.
all right, gentlemen.
No, but I'm just saying.
That's enough of the, that's enough of the.
All right, so we have a motion to appoint Joe Plesniak. Yes.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm gonna call for no votes. I said Don to John Vegas. I would like the minute to be recorded as a no.
Noted. Appointment of boards, commissions, and committees. The first one is appointment of a 2-year elected auditor. Again, we talked about this one at length tonight. Seeking a motion to appoint Kathy Carlson for that role in a 2-year term to replace Tom Beach who declined.
I'll make a motion to appoint Kathy Carlson to the Lancaster Board of Auditors for a 2-year term to replace Tom Beach who declined the nomination.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Appointments to represent the WBCA board. We have 2 vacancies. Well, one term is up and we have a vacancy. Let me address the vacancy first. Well, let's just follow the agenda. So we would like to, at this meeting, reappoint Dave Weber as a Lancaster representative to the WBCA.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. And we have a vacancy that we just learned about on January the 2nd. Mark Butler has resigned from that position effective immediately. So we need to elect somebody to fill his term, which is 1 year. It ends on December 31st, 2026.
I'll make a motion to appoint Dennis Blakely.
I will second that motion.
I'm good at still, especially, I like,
So all in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Moving on to the appointment of representatives to the Southwest Butler Council of Government, also known as COGS. We have to fill, it's really somebody appointed to that, somebody as a backup.
I make a motion to reappoint Greg Kessler as Lancaster representative.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I'll make a motion to appoint Rich Marcotte as the second representative.
I'll second that motion.
Mike, any comments?
No comments. Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Is my vote recorded, please?
All opposed?
No.
We need to certify delegates to the PSAT's annual meeting. That meeting this year is scheduled, I believe it's April 19th through 22nd. I'd like to have a discussion on that. Mike, would you like to attend that meeting?
Give some more information on the commitment to this, what is the PSAT's annual meeting?
So it's a 4-day meeting held in Hershey.
Yes.
I believe it starts Sunday, I believe the date was the 19th and runs through Wednesday the 22nd.
Does it start Sunday evening or?
Sunday evening, I believe, and I think you can attend as much or as little as you want. It's really a conference that you can attend. There's presentations, you can choose to attend various things.
You wanna get, I mean, you guys recommend this as well? I mean, yeah, I mean, I heard something like PSATs, our council of PSATs strongly recommended, so I appreciate the nomination. Yes, I will go.
Okay.
I guess I will send it, I guess.
We'll give you more information, Mike.
Appreciate that.
The PSAT's website has, the registration starts January the 13th.
Okay.
But the PSAT's website, we can send it, has all the information.
Thank you very much.
Greg, I have a question.
Sure, John.
When you did the motion to appoint you to the Southwestern Butler County Council of Government, do you not also need to have a motion to be a member of the Council of Governments?
We're already members.
We're already members.
You were last year, but I believe every year, because when we used to belong to the Butler County cause, we had to have a motion to join the Butler County cause each year.
We haven't, that will happen, I believe, in March. It's going, the cycle is to March.
Because that's what it was for. It's not on the calendar. It's March.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just know that in the past, when I was supervisor, it was always part of the reorganization.
Right, I make a motion to certify Mike Logan as the delegate to the PSAT's annual meeting.
I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Establish the treasury bond. Motion to set that at $800,000, as we've done in the past.
So I make a motion to set the bond at $800,000 for the treasurer.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Appoint municipal auditor for 2026. Suggested auditor is the one that we've used in the past, is Meyer Dussel.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Move to appoint emergency management coordinator for 2026. And that nomination, seeking nomination for Bonnie Forsythe. Mary, if I may, want to give a little background. He's currently serving that role now for us, and surrounding communities?
Yes, so currently Kevin Bayheim from Harmony Fire District and a resident of Lancaster has been serving in that role until we could get Bonnie to the point where she would be the emergency management coordinator for the COG. So it's for the four municipalities, Lancaster, Jackson, Zillion, Harmony. And although Bonnie is the primary emergency management coordinator, Ed, myself, Sylvia, Kevin, all serve as backups for her, and we're in her chain of command for emergencies. If there's a regional emergency or even an emergency in our community, she will be the first line of defense, but we will all work with her. So she will be the coordinator for this. She's in training for it. She's in a full-time role at the fire district and in the COG. So she lives this day to day. It's not just a part-time fill-in situation.
She's a full-time.
She's a full-time employee.
Either of you gentlemen met with her personally?
Yeah, I met with the person, I've been in several meetings in the COG with her, and she was interviewed by the members of the COG and hired approximately 18
It's been more than a year ago.
About 18
I was
months.
one of
It's
the
about 18 months.
interviewers, yes. She's fully qualified to do this job. She's tough.
She sits at, I'm sorry, she does sit in on all the COG meetings.
I'm just asking about her qualifications.
She's qualified.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to appoint Bonnie Forsythe as emergency management coordinator.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Fund designations for 2026. Motion to maintain both the general fund, the capital reserves, general park fund, new building fund, and Act 13 with next tier bank.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Motion to maintain the general fund reserves and capital reserves for Four Springs Park Fund and the Highway Aid funds with Pliget.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. That completes the agenda for this evening. Yeah, John?
Mary, you said that these are all backup cover. How many of these are NIMS certified?
I do not have my NIM certification.
I was this from fire.
Yeah. I know that's a requirement, that in emergency management.
She's already told us we have to comply with the laws.
Okay.
Just for my clarification, John, can you explain that, or someone, John, can you explain what NIMS certification is? Is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
Sure is.
If I can remember, I mean, I don't know exactly what it is. NIM certification was you had to go attend training sessions. So if there is an emergency, where you're set up your command center and the people, and you're to have a list of all of the supplies that you have available to you in case there's a storm, people with equipment so that you can get roads cleared and different things like that, floods, people to go out and put flares up or roadblocks and everything. It's a good training for everybody on that committee to have, and the more people you can get involved with it, the better off you are. Because you may get a tornado come through and that part of the township can't coordinate and communicate with this part of the township. So it's really good training, and I was just curious how many people got their NIM. Back when I was supervisor, every supervisor was required to have NIM certification.
Interesting. Ed, did you say you were NIM certified?
Apparently I am, because it's the National Listener and Safety is what it stands for.
Is anybody else in the township that's
We've
certified?
already started the process.
We've already taken one class.
Is anybody else in the township certified besides you?
I imagine my trouble was with the fire department.
The fire department, the members of the fire department that are part of our emergency plan
No, it's good.
are NIM certified.
Okay, thanks. Need a motion to adjourn?
Yes, we do.
Motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you for attending. Happy New Year.